When did you
Yes.
first realize that something was happening with you, that something was wrong in your book?
That something was wrong with me initially?
Yeah.
Well, I started to, I used to work in a cafeteria.
Uh-huh.
And I started to get swelling of my joints,
Right.
my fingers, toes, elbow, all those joints started to hurt and was swelling.
Yeah.
And constant fever. Just constant fever. Nothing was cutting the fever. And I think I had to go up to Port of Spain probably about 3 times for the month. And they just give me, medication and they send me home. And I think the last time I went, it was that bad that they warded me. And they did a blood test, and the blood was reading like a very low white count. So there was concern about that. So they asked me to do a HIV test.
Mm-hmm.
I tell them, well, go ahead, because I wasn't no wild person.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't understand why the blood count was reading that now. So when the results came back, they told me that, it was negative, but my blood count the white cells was not responding to no kind of infection or nothing. So it's doing some tests and stuff, they realized that it was SLE I have, which is the medical term for lupus.
Wow. Okay. So basically, the reason why you're blind now is because of lupus.
Yes. Within 3 months of diagnosis, I started to see a bright light from one corner of the eye to the other side, just flashing going. But I was seeing still. I just used to see that bright light. And then within 3 months, I realized I was seeing half of everything. So I didn't understand it. And then I told my doctors, and within a month after that, they would say 4 months tops, I lost sight in my right eye. And I have peripheral vision in my left.
Tell me, for persons who may not know you, tell me a little bit about your life before that, because I know based on our conversation, you were very active in terms of your training and so.
I was at the Mokrapo cadet unit, a sergeant. That's when that we had met, right? I was a sergeant when you were there as a cadet.
Yeah.
Right. I had not too long came out of Mokrapo secondary, comprehensive. I left as a sergeant. I was running marathons at the time, basically fit at the time. When you're young, you're strong and you're doing everything possible. Yeah.
And what would you experience while training or exercising?
What I experienced, I enjoy my days at Mokrapo as a NCO, as a sergeant, and as a cadet. I enjoy the discipline, how it used to have you feeling. Like, you're in the army. I used to like that. I felt really, even though it was cadets, I felt like if I was a soldier. To me, I don't know about everybody else.
Yeah.
And I was behaving like that. Honestly, I was feeling like if I was in the army, and I used to be upright and walking straight, and the experience for me was nice. I would advise any young person to get involved with cadet force.
Yeah.
It helped me. It helped me discipline wise, and it helped build my character, I think, because having to go through, losing my sight and stuff at a young age, after passing through, cadets and all these things, the discipline I had in cadets, I think, is what helped me a little more alongside trusting my God. it helped me with my disability. It really did. I think it helped shape the kind of, the person that I am.
Yeah,
Cadets.
I
That
understand.
discipline. Yeah.
And tell me what took place. What was your therapy like? What were some of the things that you had to undergo?
After being diagnosed with lupus,
Yes.
therapy, no, it's not a therapy actually, is when I was diagnosed, they medicate me. They said there's no cure for lupus, but there's drugs that they can give you to help manage the disease.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, after 4 months of being diagnosed with the disease, I started to experience loss of sight. So that's two things there happening at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was I was joined into an eye clinic where they will, checking the eyes and want to know why it is bleeding. So the lupus had caused some blood vessels to grow where they're not supposed to grow. And these blood vessels now started to hemorrhage.
Mm-hmm.
And the hemorrhage is what was causing the blurriness and all of that. So I had to go through a whole procedure of lasers,
Mm-hmm.
laser treatment, yeah, to stop the bleeding. And that is what,
The
helped
eyes.
the bleeding so much.
Wow. Okay. 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 So you got a diagnosis. You were able to recover. And tell me about living with the situation, living with lupus, living with you're blind, right? Living with being blind, and also you have
Visually
a
impaired.
visually impaired, yes, and you also have a daughter. Because
Yes, 8.
a lot of people have this notion that people who are disabled by any means that they
Mm-hmm.
can't have a normal function in life, or that they
Wow.
can't be like everybody else and exercise or go to family functions or anything at all. Just be happy genuinely, because the image that is painted most times with people who are challenged is that they're either home in bed, sick, crying, dying, or in pain, when you live a normal life.
Basically,
Yeah,
yeah. By the grace of God,
yeah,
by the grace of God, I am. But it didn't start off like that, Melissa. It really didn't. Right? Being now diagnosed and stuff at the age of 23,
okay,
you're young and you feel like nothing can touch you.
yeah,
When it first started to happen to me, it was not easy. I would never paint that picture for anybody.
mm-hmm.
And besides this, the disease itself, where your body is being attacked, literally attacked, the eyes were doing something else. So that was two set of things I was battling at the same time.
Right,
So it was really hard. And then, when doctors telling you they can't do anything for you and they're sorry and this is all they could do, and you reach a position where family can't help you, doctors can't help you, we just turn to God.
yeah,
And that is where I got started to get the confidence and the strength
yeah,
to push through in the earlys. Because when I started to lose my sight, I can remember laying down on my grandmother's bed and I was asking God to take me,
wow,
because I think, and the same thing what you just said, after 23 years I seeing, and now this to come and happen, I wasn't seeing my life
yeah,
being blind, and I thought that is no life to have. So I remember having that conversation with God, and I thank God today he didn't listen.
yeah,
Because I will be 42 on Saturday, and it have a lot of
wow,
lupus patients who are not here today. So I'm
yeah,
very blessed and fortunate to be here. But it was not easy, and living with it, it is a challenge. The disease is a challenging disease.
mhm,
But as I say, with God, trusting God, and the support from friends and family,
yeah,
the transaction has been, it's plenty easier than to
yeah.
having to go through alone.